Hi everybody, hope you are doing well. I'm excited to share Torah with you for Parshas Devarim, also Shabbos Chazon, Shabbat Chazon, Shabbos before Tisha B'Av. I would like to begin with a tshuva from Rabbi Victor Nevental Shlita, the Rabbi in Yerushalayim. Kodesh is a fascinating set on the Moadim. I very much enjoy his Torah in general. And the shaila he's dealing with here is it ideal, is it righteous, pious, for one to take additional isurim upon themselves during the 9 days? For example, although technically speaking it's only usher to eat meat or drink wine, but listen, it's the 9 days, we should be mourning the Beis HaMikdash more than usual. Let's say I really enjoy a particular food. Is it praiseworthy to not eat that food? To enjoy a certain cereal? Is there something to say for not eating that cereal during the 9 days? Because I shouldn't be happy, so maybe I should not eat those foods which I particularly enjoy, even if they're not meat or wine. Technically mutter, but should I refrain? Answers of Nevenzel, no. If it's not usher, it's not usher. Meat is usher, wine is usher. Your favorite chocolate bar is not usher. So you can have it. However, he argues, Umisha margish avelus be'emes, but if you sincerely feel the mourning of the Beis HaMikdash, memela nimtza shemema'at hanos k'chol sheyachol. By nature, you will diminish your enjoyable activities. It's just natural. Naturally, that will happen. A result of your mourning will be that you won't want that food. You won't want to be happy. It's a very, very, very powerful psak. Again, it's mutter. You like a Kit Kat? Eat your Kit Kat. But if you're in a bad mood, you might not want a Kit Kat. If you're mourning the Beis HaMikdash, you might not feel it, And this is a very, very high level to be on. We often have trouble relating to the previous generation, right? Something maybe that we take seriously, it might not be easy for us to impart that onto our children. Let's say, for example, 9/11, right? 2001 was already a while ago. My students in high school don't know. They don't understand the severity, the gravity of that day in history. And it's Gush Katif, right? People who grew up witnessing that part of history have trouble explaining to the next generation what that is, and what that was like, the severity of that episode in history. And Tisha B'Av really requires us to tap into the previous generations on an emotional level. Things that happened in Yerushalayim, things that happened in Europe, where towns of Jewish people were destroyed and Jews that we never met were murdered. Those episodes should bother us. And that's the avoda of Tisha B'Av, to tap in on an emotional level. The Torah records in Perek Aleph, Pasuk of Aleph, Moshe says, we got very close to Eretz Yisrael, and I told you, Re'ei nasan Hashem Elokecha lefanachas ha'aretz. God gave you the land of Israel. Alei reish, get up, kasher diber Hashem Elokecha lach. Al tira ve'al teichas. Moshe is now recounting before he dies the episode. And he says, remember, we got so close to Israel, and I said, go up and conquer it. And what happened? The Pasuk of Beis, Vatikavun elai kulchem, atomru nishlachan Hashim lefanenu. Bnei Yisrael was not ready to just enter Israel. They wanted to send the spies. And Rav Soloveitchik argues this is the episode that relates Parshas Devarim to Tisha B'Av. Had they entered Israel immediately as planned, Moshe would himself have led them there. He in effect would have become the Mashiach. Israel's possession of the land and the temple would have been permanent, with no destruction and no subsequent exiles. This is how Rav Soloveitchik explains the connection between Devarim and Tisha B'Av, and he even concludes at a Yarchei Kal that he gave in 1978. This is why this portion of the Torah is read on Shabbos Chazon, the Shabbos prior to Tisha B'Av. We were so close to Israel and we couldn't get there. How do we relate to this episode? I want to argue that this point of relating to previous generations could be said homiletically in a Rashi. Rashi argues that when Moshe said that you all came to me begging me to send the spies, he says, usually at least people come to me in a nice, refined manner, but in this case it was not like that. Here, the young children were pushing the elders, and the elders were pushing the leaders. You guys charged me, says Moshe, begging to send the spies, and you weren't respecting the generations. Usually young children should honor the elders should honor the leaders. And there was a Mishka Babel, the Irvurvia, Rashi says, on Pasach Beis. And perhaps this mixing of the generations is a reference to the morning of Tisha B'Av, that we don't really appreciate the generation that came before us and the respect. On Tisha B'Av, we have to respect those generations that we didn't meet. And the whole idea of learning Mussar from Moshe Rabbeinu is not to repeat the mistakes of the previous generation. We should all be zocheh to tap in to Sefer Devarim, to Tisha B'Av, learn about the previous generations, connect to their story, and most importantly, not repeat their mistake, and learn from these tragedies, and grow stronger to enter and conquer Eretz Yisrael. Have a wonderful Shabbos.